it's spring again, and that calls for some happy colors, some really cool card ideas, and a bit of a fun surprise. So let's not waste any time and let's just dive right in. I'm going to start with 2 plain white cardstock eggs, and on one of them I'm going to draw a crack line. Next I'm going to cut the line using a knife. You can use a pair of scissors or a knife and a ruler if you want to. I just did it by hand, just winging it sort of. And once I have my 2 parts, I'm going to add some color using a blender brush and some ink. And this is always a great way to add some interest to a shape or a card background. Adding a bit of ink along the edges always makes a difference, and this will help bring that egg come to life a little bit more. And now I'm going to add some details with an alcohol marker. So once I have my first color, I'm going to add a bit darker color along the edge, and then I'm going to go with the light color over the complete shapes again. It's a really simple way to add some details. Next I have a piece of foam the same shape as the egg. I'm going to cut out an egg shape from the inside of the foam so I get an egg-shaped border, if that's a good name for it. I'm going to add the foam to the 2 egg pieces. You can use tape or glue. And then I'm going to cut through the foam, making it 2 parts again. Next I'm going to add the bottom piece to the complete egg. Then I have 2 longer strips and a small strip. And the silver strip I'm going to use that as a hinge, adding that on one side. And then I'm going to finish with the longer strips. One at the top part and the other one at the bottom part, giving it a nice finish along the sides. And next I needed some filling for my egg, so I'm going to draw a little baby chick using my tiny baby chick as an example. Then I'm going to add some color using alcohol markers, and I start with the darkest color, working my way up to the lighter color. Now I'm not an expert at this, I just like the coloring and it's just fun to do, and with alcohol markers it's pretty easy. I just use my lighter color to go over the previous color as well, and that way they will blend easily. And one thing I always like to do with colored images is to add some highlights with a white marker to bring them a bit more to life. And I finish with some rosy cheeks. Back to the egg, I have added some tape to the back and I'm adding that to my card. And then I have a home for my little chickie, so I can put her inside and close the egg again. I finish with a little bow and Happy Easter on top of the egg, and this is also a nice handle to open the egg. And here you have them, the big one and the small one together. How cute! I think they're really cute. Now this was a really fun one to make, but I have some more ideas, so let's check them out. Next I have a piece of striped paper and some strips, and I'm going to add those strips to the outside of the card. And I'm also going to add one in the middle. And then the same with the smaller strips. And I do the same on the other sides and in the middle as well. And then it's time to meet Benny and Bee. And Benny is a curious little guy. Let's add him in the right bottom corner. And Bee has a little bit chubby cheeks, and that's just because she has been snacking on some carrots, so don't judge her for that. And because Bee has been snacking on those carrots, I'm going to have to make some new ones. So I just color a piece of cardstock orange. You can also use orange cardstock if you want to. And I draw some carrot shapes. And then I'm going to add some details with a darker marker again. And I add some green pieces at the top. And then I'm going to fill those spots with Benny and Bee and also with the carrots. And once I had all my elements in place, I thought it needed a little bit more. So I'm adding some blue squares to make the card pop a little bit more. Now if you want to, you can add a sentiment or leave it as is. I'm going to leave it like this. For the next card I have 2 colors green cardstock, and I'm going to wiggle cut the light one. And I'm going to wiggle cut it at an angle so I get a bunch of strips. I add some tape to the back and then I'm going to add it on the darker green card. And then I'm going to wiggle cut along the edge again. And it doesn't have to be the same. It will create just a fun border. Now once I have all my pieces done, I'm going to add them on my card. And then I add a piece of blue at the top, and I will get back to that later. Next I have some eggs, a bunch of leaves and flowers. I preheated the glue gun. Then I'm going to lay out the pieces, and once I have a bit of a basic plan, I'm going to glue all the pieces on my card. And now this is coming along nicely. I like my eggs and I like the flowers. And it works really well. Finishing up with some pearls for the center. I printed Happy Easter for the sentiment. And I cut the letters apart. I take a piece of tape and add all the letters next to each other again. And this gives you a little bit of fun texture. And it's a playful way to make a sentiment. Word of warning, this is the part where I'm going to demolish the card because I was not pleased with the result at all. I wasn't entirely happy with the card, and this is the next day. So I'm just taking the panel of the card again and removing the blue. I'm going to add some ink along the edges, and this time some stripe paper at the top. Add my panel at the bottom, and then I'm going to finish with the sentiment. Now this is way better. That's it. Subscribe here, watch more here, and as always, make sure to keep on crafting.